and welcome to Meanwhile in the Falklands, the weekly podcast from FITV. I'm joined in the studio with
Hannah Newton! Woo!
And of course our animator
Tom Mental.
Way! So today it's Friday and it is also World Albatross Day. So we're doing a bit of filming for that, aren't we, next week?
Yeah, we'll be doing something with that hopefully next week. We've got lots of lovely albatross shots that we will put out as well, because they're my favourite, and there's lots of albatross here in the islands. Also, I was going to say, the listener probably has missed us for a couple of weeks. We have been super busy.
Yeah.
So we're finally back, and back to annoy you on the airwaves, shall we say.
Absolutely. Well, we have got a long list of things that we've been up to, but a big one this week, I guess, is you both have been to the Nightingale Exercise down at the Leisure Centre.
Yeah, so Tom and I went down to the Leisure Centre last night, didn't we? Which was good fun. What they've done is they've set up a temporary ward with all these beds in the gymnasium, just in case COVID comes to the islands and there's a big peak of people who have it. So they've got these camp beds out and stuff, and it's quite good because they can use it as well for any other disasters that happen here, or anything that they think, oh God, actually we need some more medical facilities. But did you enjoy it, Tommy? It was your debut filming.
Yeah, you were on the film, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too bad. I mean, yeah.
So what was you doing? Was you on the... Because I wasn't there, but were you on the gimbal and the phone and getting a few of the cover shots, were you? Or what was you...
Yeah, I think I was mostly like trying to get sound at first, and then like the second half I was on the gimbal, just like cover shots.
Getting all the cover. So with the sound, was the sound all right? Was it a clear walkthrough throughout the entire exercise?
Yeah, I think it was alright. I mean, probably a bit quiet, but yeah.
Bit quiet. Was it all right for you as well?
Yeah, no, it was really good actually. We did 3 interviews with the chief of nursing staff, I think, was her job role, and a couple of the other guys that helped out there. But it was actually a joint exercise between the 16 Medical Regiment, PWD, and the hospital and all sorts. So it was kind of everyone coming together in a bit of a collaborative community spirit, shall we say. So it was really good actually, and I was impressed at how just how they'd set the whole area up. To be honest, you wouldn't think that they'd be able to fit so many beds in such a space. So it was good. It was really fun. But whilst we were doing that, you were busy, weren't you? Very busy. Do tell us, what were you doing, Oliver?
Good link in there, I like that. No, so I was in the same building, but I was playing the first ever Falkland Islands short mat bowls tournament. I loved it. It was good. So I don't know if you know, listener, but I've been getting involved with short mat bowls for the past, when it first started, about 6 months ago. And this is the first time where there's actually a bit of a tournament. So on yesterday, we had a kind of qualifiers for the finals on Saturday. So next week, I'm sure you'll be able to hear if I've won, if I haven't.
Ollie's hoping to get himself a short mat bowls mug.
Yes.
Aren't you? Yeah.
So if you finish 4th, you get a prestigious short mat bowls mug, which is good, and that's kind of that would be quite good to have in the office, especially now. But yeah, no, that's what I was doing, playing a bit of short mat bowls, and that piece will be out next week in terms of what went on.
And how did the sport actually come to the islands?
I don't really know, but I think it was a guy called Cecil Alexander who does loads of sports in the islands, and he kind of just started it and got the idea ahead, and so many other people started playing short mat bowls, and I don't know, I kind of link it to darts, because it's one person versus one person, and you kind of have that, it's all a bit, it's not very physical, but it's a lot of mental energy, and you've got to kind of have the 55 minutes, and it's quite hard actually throwing so many balls to hit.
So have you been practicing with your tin cans on your one bowling arm, getting your strength up?
I should have thought of that. That's a good idea. But I think as Tom, I live with Tom. If you don't know, listener, at the FITV house. I've seen a few paper scrunched up balls down the hallway. I've been practicing my technique, so I've been really trying to go for it. But there are some really quality players for the short mat bowls team. But the short mat bowls team are quite good. They were victorious in the NPC versus Stanley event. And they're looking to go to the Island Games next year to submit a team to the Island Games, and His Excellency the Governor got involved and joined in for a few ends. So that was quite nice. But that was good. And in terms of this week as well, the pubs are reopening.
Woo!
So
I'm hardly waiting.
So it is quite a big thing in the
A
Falklands.
momentous occasion, shall we say?
Absolutely, but I'm still interested in how it's going to work in terms of social distancing. You know, pubs have been given guidance from the Falkland Islands government.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Because they've been all the local pubs and restaurants have been asked to submit plans including the cinema as well, to say how they're going to do the social distancing and things like that. But once they've submitted their plans, they are free to open, and there isn't actually going to be anyone going around policing it. And you know what people are like, once they've had a couple of drinks and stuff, they'll be moving across tables and stuff. It'd be interesting to see how those plans stay implemented and whether people will abide by the rules.
Well,
So we shall see.
I think it is positive that there's no positive cases here. Obviously, scenarios would be very different if there was positive cases that came up. But yeah, that's a big news story in the Falklands, that the pubs and restaurants and cafes are reopening, which is obviously very good. And also next week we've got Paula and Steve coming back.
Yes,
On Tuesday.
2 Paula and Steves. No, lovely bosses will finally be coming back to steer the ship, which should be good. But they will obviously have to go into 14-day isolation as soon as they arrive, 14-day quarantine. So they will be in the house, but they will be working from home. So we might be able to hear from them then in the next podcast from their house, which should be quite nice. And they've got their lovely daughter as well, Connie, coming with them.
Oh yeah.
So that all 3 of them can maybe have a go at doing the podcast and see how they've been getting on, and stuff like that. So it'd be good. Hopefully their flight isn't delayed. We know we've had some interesting weather, haven't we? Over the past 2 weeks we've had a bit of snow, it's been sunny, it's been raining. So it'll be interesting to see if the flight comes in. Fingers crossed it does.
Hopefully, yeah. No, we have certainly missed them, of course, if they're listening in.
Yes.
It'd be good to see them back. Back to the FITV towers.
Yes.
Which is good, so they're coming back. And we've also had a departure, unfortunately. Our historian, our famous historian.
So the listener, if you've been listening and watching with FITV for many a year, you will have seen we had a lovely historian who came to do some presenting with us and who did a couple of presenter-led history pieces on the shipwrecks of the Falklands. Lovely David Bailey and his Mrs. Hannah have actually departed the islands after being here for 4 or 5 years, which is quite sad. So there is a slot open if anyone would like to apply to have a go at doing some presenting as a guest presenter or a guest historian. Bit like Time Team Man. I can't remember the name of the Time Team Man. But
Tony Robinson. I used
there
to watch that religiously.
Yep.
What a program.
That's Dan Snow as well, is it? The Jon Snow?
John Snow. John and Dan Snow.
Yeah,
did the 20th century battlefield.
Yes. So we're looking for people who can fit that bill.
But obviously I wish Bailey and Hannah and Jasper all the best. I think they're going to the Emerald Isle in Ireland. So that's the first port of call for them. But before Bailey left, we also did a historical piece on Bennock's Paddock, because it was a former World War II camp, and as well it was a 1982 defensive position. But Tom, you have done a quite spectacular, I would say, animation on the history book. Could you tell us a bit about the animation and what it's all about?
It's obviously based in like this sort of like World War II sort of time, so it's, so I designed the book so it's all like, I don't know what you said, like crusty and like torn up and just old.
Yeah.
And like, it says like a little lamp on the table, which is like, shines down on the book, and it's based on, I think it's called a banker's light or something.
Okay.
Which is an old green lamp from World War II. And
well, the idea with the animation, isn't it, is because we found, Bailey found, should I say, a diary extract from a soldier that was in the camp during World War II and wrote all of what happened during the days. So I was thinking of getting the good old Yorkshire accent out and trying to get a few extracts from it, and that's the point of the animation, isn't it? To trying to reveal bits from his diary, which is quite interesting actually. he went in this diary extract. He went to go and find a penguin rookery, and he said it smelt really, really awful. But it's true that was exactly my reaction when I first went to a penguin rookery.
Yeah.
Really nice, really nice penguin
Visuals, but
yeah.
on the smell side.
But I went with Kyle to volunteer point. I remember this, and the wind was blowing in my direction, so I had all the whiff of all the penguin smell. So if you've ever been to a penguin rookery, as many of the listeners might be aware, they do smell, but they are really, really
you
nice.
You get used to it though, and also with I think because it's so amazing that you're seeing so many birds in a small place, but you kind of get over the fact that the smell's a bit hideous.
No.
Not as bad as the smell in the FITV bathroom though. At the Anderson Drive, is it?
Well, we got 2, so it's all right. But speaking of that, actually, we are having a quick makeover at FITV. So we've managed to get a few posters, haven't we, Tom, from Stanley Services. So we're going to have our very own FITV house gallery with some of the pictures that are up, which is that's the highlight of FITV at the moment in the house. And also next week it was scheduled to be the Midwinter swim, wasn't it? Oh.
Sorry, my nose. So I was like, carry on talking about decoration.
That's all right. We'll keep that one in. Yeah, it is. We'll just let you blow your nose for now. No, it is the...
I'm not sick, listener, don't worry.
It is... actually, this is quite a big one, isn't it? Because the Midwinter swim. Now, I've never been to that. I've heard rumours about it.
Oh, it's the Falklands tip-top event of the year, I must admit. So the Midwinter swim happens every year at the closest Saturday to the winter solstice, according to Mrs. Foames. And what happens is everyone gets together on the beach and they all run into the freezing cold South Atlantic, dip their heads under and receive a certificate of lunacy from the governor. Mine's at home.
But I saw a video in the archives like ages ago. You did your piece with quite a few, wearing superhero costumes.
this was the thing. So we did a warm-up piece where we were all in superhero costumes and saying, oh, Midwinter swim, pre-Midwinter swim's coming up. Who's going to do it? Just to plug it and get people to sign up for it. And then we went in and did it, and it was freezing. Honestly, you come out, you can't feel your feet, you can't feel your knees. It's really, really cold. So in this week's show, actually, we've got a little throwback to when Kyle had a go at doing it. Unfortunately, he couldn't do it on the day because he was filming, so he went and did it on his own at the beach. He looked like he had a bit of an interesting time. But you won't have a chance to do it this year, I'm afraid.
Oh, what a shame.
You missed out on it.
Oh, no, that's a shame.
Because normally it's the tradition that FITV employees have to do it. The new ones have to go and have their midwinter swim soaking.
Well, it's all right, because what I'll do, right, the Malvina's opening, there'll be a hot tub there, surely. I can do it there, can't I, surely?
Cheaped up. But Tom, have you ever done the midwinter swim?
No, I've never done it before, no.
Would you have a go?
Probably not, to be honest, no.
Oh, come on, the certificate's worth it.
Signed by the
It's quite nice afterwards as well, because they've got all the oil drums out and we're all with the little fires and you all stand round in your towel and stuff, and then sometimes you go to the seafarers mission, seaman's mission, and they put on some food and stuff like that, and you can have a hot drink, which is quite nice. Hot chocolate or a hot toddy.
It is getting much, I must admit, it is getting a bit colder now, isn't it? And this is my first winter here. So.
Well, you were first witness of snow here as well. First time you saw the snow.
Yeah,
it was a Liberation weekend.
Yes, it was pretty exciting. I mean, it was covered in the car, so I had to get the bank card out to try and scrape it all off the car. But yeah, it was like Yorkshire summer, really.
But it was also your first Liberation Day parade.
Yeah.
How did you boys find that? The two of you were filming down at the monument, weren't you?
Yes, it was. Well, it was social distancing, wasn't it? So it was a bit different to usual because we had a look at the archives and to see previous Liberation Day parades. But yeah, it was. I mean, fortunately, the benefit of our job is we can kind of see people's emotions a lot more than what the average person would do sat behind the lines. So you could really see the kind of emotion from people, which was really. I don't know, that kind of caught me. I don't know if that caught you as well, Tom, but. Because for instance, you were filming in front of people, and you could really see that it is a big thing here in the Falklands Liberation Day, and rightly so.
And same with a lot of the different memorials, because memorial season's finally come to an end, hasn't it? But but with a lot of the memorials we've been filming over the space of 2 months, it's been, and they've been spread out. The first one was Anzac Day, wasn't it?
Anzac,
Which was the evening, the early morning one for Australians and New Zealanders who lost their lives during conflict. But
and then we went to Nick Taylor as well.
Yeah, we had Nick Taylor and San Carlos and lots of different services. But even though the COVID-19 pandemic's it's happened at the height of the pandemic, we've probably, I'm going to say this, one of the only countries in the world who have still managed to do services socially distanced and obviously on a lower key scale than we normally would. But it's still worked out, and we've been live streaming a couple of them and trying out different ways of filming it and stuff. And I think it's gone really well, actually, and the services have been really, really well attended.
Well, absolutely. I mean, if you look on Facebook, the viewership's gone quite a lot. I mean, we've received messages from, all sorts of places, from the UK to New Zealand, saying how special it is for them to see the kind of service. But we were speaking to someone, a sergeant, and it was his first time in the Falkland Islands, but his father had fought in 1982. So for him, it was really, really significant for him, because obviously this is where his father would have fought, and during the 82 conflict. And it was really interesting speaking to him, especially at the Fitzroy Memorial.
Well, I think it must be quite hard for some of these veterans to actually come back who haven't been back in 30 years, in a long time. And because we're location-wise, we're quite out the way, we're in the middle of nowhere, and it's quite difficult to get here. But B, coming back and actually walking on the same bit of land where you were fighting in 82, it must be really, really difficult to deal with, I think. And it's even when you see some of these veterans at the services, you can tell that it's very significant for them, and it must bring back old memories.
Well, absolutely, and we were talking about this earlier, that for us it's a bit of history, but for them it's actually, it means a lot.
Real life. Well, it's difficult because we've not lived through a war, really. We haven't had to deal with anything like that. Sometimes I find it's difficult to understand until you actually see footage or documentary stuff. Well, I know we've been running through KTV a couple of 1982 documentaries where it kind of showed the town and stuff, and the soldiers coming in and out and whatnot, and bits from the conflict, and it makes it seem real. Then you can kind of relate and say, oh, hey, actually, that's where the post office is, that's where they did this. It feels real.
Yeah.
Not that it's not real, but it makes it more real, I think.
But look, we kind of had a first as well, actually, a first virtual memorial service, and that was from the Sheffield Sea Cadets, Sea and Royal Marine Cadets. And like I say, we did it via Zoom, and they were really interested in what, the Falklands and the Falklands history. But it was an eye-opener as well, because the cadets, they made their own, it'd be on FITV, but they made their own presentation, and they had a father that gave a speech out as well, and MLA Roger Spink was there.
And it was over Zoom, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and the Lord Mayor was there as well, and it was quite a special thing, really, because, and obviously the listener, if you can see that on FITV after the news show. So yeah, that was quite a big eye opener, definitely. And the Lord Mayor of Sheffield, the longest serving Lord Mayor, was there as well. So it was really, really nice, actually, to see. And
I'm going to plug it, but I would like to say thanks to Shaw, Falkland Islands, because they were the ones that have sorted us out with a SIM card so we can do it, and made it possible. And also the fact that the signal's actually been 4G signals worked and things like that.
Especially at the Glamorgan, because we went there and tested it, make sure that everything was all right before the actual day, and it worked. And loads of people, it's got loads of people viewing it and sending.
And it means that some of these veterans who are in the UK can actually watch and see what we're doing, which is great for them.
Absolutely. I suppose until it's memorial season kind of finished, isn't it now, with all the memorials finished? I think that concludes this week. So we're on episode 101. You can catch FITV on your television set, or you can go online at www.fitv.co.uk/channel.html.
I just love the www. In the Yorkshire accent. Always sounds lovely.
Thank you. No, that's a positive comment there. I like that. So you can catch us next week as well. So I might not be here if if I lose the short mat bowls tournament.
Yeah, he might be on a flight back home, we shall see.
Right.
Anyway, you might hear the lovely dulcet tones of the Foamsy family next week, live from JMA in the Falklands. They'll be back, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, brilliant. So, yeah, thank you very much, and see you all next week.